On the road to the Final Four, we join you from Providence, Rhode Island. This is first round action from the South region. The number 11 seed, the Wichita State Shockers, taking on the number 6 seed from the Pac-12, the Arizona Wildcats. And the winner here will face Miami Hurricanes. Got it done against Buffalo with a first round victory. Hi, everybody. Welcome courtside. Ian Eagle along with Chris Webber, Len Elmore. Final game of the day here in Providence. On paper, fantastic matchup with Arizona and Wichita State. Third all-time meeting for these two teams. Arizona, Chris, Sean Miller's taken better teams to the big dance in the past. He's gone to the Elite Eight each of the last 2 years, lost to Wisconsin in both of those situations. But they've got seniors, 3 of them in the starting lineup.
They've got seniors, and those seniors have passion. They have a history. And by the way, they have some athletic ability, starting with Ryan Anderson. Yeah. This senior transfer from Boston College shoots over 50%, averaging 16 points, 10 rebounds. And this is a little bit how he does it. The nice jump hook inside, getting great position, using that wide base of his. And here, he's going to step out a little bit and let you know he's been working on his game to extend from the basket. And lastly, he attacks those offensive rebounds.
Well, taking on Wichita State, it's been done before, Lenny. First 4 to the Final Four. VCU did it 5 years ago. Wichita State believes they have the kind of team that can go on that kind of extended run. They've got some basketball royalty, the way that these guys have performed in the tournament with Van Vliet and Baker.
Well, absolutely right. You can't talk about Wichita State without gushing over these two seniors. Ron Baker, first team, Missouri Valley Conference. Fred Van Vliet, Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. They both experienced Final Fours. This is their 12th NCAA tournament game. And Baker and Van Vliet are first and second, respectively, among active players in NCAA scoring. And I'll tell you what, NCAA tournament scoring, experience does matter, no question.
Wichita State, a 70-50 win over Vanderbilt to get here to Providence. A spot in the second round is on the line. We've got Arizona and Wichita State coming up.
I hope you're enjoying this, but what I'm going to tell you, those of you who haven't been around that long, it only gets better from here. It only gets better from here. This is a very winnable game. You don't have to play the perfect game. Just play your best. Let's go.
And Greg Marshall would know. Head coach at Wichita State took this team to the Final Four in 2013. Now in his 9th year as the head coach of the Shockers, his 5th straight NCAA tournament appearance. Let's check out the starting lineups here in Providence for Wichita State and Arizona. The Shockers go with Zach Brown, Evan Wessel, Fred Van Vliet, Shaquille Morris, and Ron Baker. Arizona, Gabe York, Kadeem Allen, Alonzo Trier, the freshman, Ryan Anderson, and Caleb Tarczewski. For Sean Miller, in his 7th year as the head man at Arizona, and 40 pounds lighter. He has cut out the sweets. And Len Elmore has added the sweets. He just started eating Swedish fish this week for the first time in his life. Terry Weimer, Ray Natili, Dwayne Gladden, the officiating crew. We're underway. Arizona, the 6th seed. Wichita State, the 11th seed. And the winner will face the Miami Hurricanes. Shockers control the tip. Morris on the interior. Off the back of the iron. Trier helping out off the glass for the rebound.
And that's almost a trademark. Wichita State trying to go inside right away.
Trier to the hoop. Hop step. He lays it in. Alonzo Trier out of Seattle, Washington. The freshman has explosive abilities, averaging 15 points per game. Here's Baker out of the perimeter. Got off to a very slow start against Vanderbilt the other night. And he gets the scoring started for Wichita State.
I'll tell you what, Ron Baker's got good size. He's got a good nose for the basket. And look at this hounding.
Kadeem Allen, a tie-up. Allen needed some help. Possession arrow to Arizona.
The guard play of Arizona is going to be so important on the offensive end, handling the ball, but also on the defensive end. As you know, Wessel, Van Vliet, Baker, these guys continuously attack. You're going to have to communicate on your switches and make sure guys are seeing their ball and the man.
Yeah, I think Kadeem Allen and the Wildcats were surprised by that pressure in the backcourt.
Wichita State #1 in the nation, holding opponents to 59.2 points per game. And a timeout called. Arizona uses one 53 seconds into this first half. We're tied at 2, just underway in Providence. Right now, a look at the Infinity Coaches Spotlight. Sean Miller in his 7th year as the head coach at Arizona. He has only lost one NCAA tournament game to a lower seed. That was 2 years ago when Wisconsin was a 2 and Arizona was a 1. Normally, Miller's teams take care of business back in Xavier days and Arizona. Why the early timeout, Len?
Well, I believe, again, his team just didn't appear ready for that pressure, and he's probably called it to remind them of it so he wouldn't have to do it again. And remember, the held ball still allowed only 3 seconds left, and when you call a timeout, you get a new 10 seconds to bring it up in the backcourt. That's the trade-off. So he wanted to trade it and remind his guys how to handle that pressure.
Shot clock winding down, and it's a turnover either way. Kadeem Allen called for steps.
And that's because of the steady defensive play by Van Vliet right there. He made sure that he moved his feet. He stayed vertical, didn't impede the progress, kept his hands off. And if you're the Arizona guards, you're going to have to make sure you keep the turnovers low, but also you're going to have to attack the caution.
And again, he wants to be sure that, you know, his first year in Division I point guard, Kadeem Allen, who was at junior college the last couple of years, you know, make sure that he understands how to bring that up.
Van Vliet, the jumper is silky smooth. 4-2 lead for Wichita State. Kadeem Allen was the leading scorer in junior college at Hutchinson Community College. Trier lines it up. He's off the mark from three-point territory. Baker the rebound and the push. 2 minutes gone by, first half. Van Vliet using the screen. Allen works under it. Morris gets a touch against the 7-footer. Van Vliet launches. It's off. Morris saves it. Shaq Morris with a full palm.
Can't say enough about Tarczewski's effort on the defensive end. He's manned the paint down there by himself. But unfortunately for Arizona, can't convert on the other end.
This is one of those situations with Wichita State. They might be better off taking that last shot from the perimeter.
Lob it in. Trier has it blocked out of bounds. An even minute to play. And a 9-point lead for Wichita State trying to get to the finish line.
And Tarczewski pretty much locked the door on the paint. Here on the offensive end, they've got to find a way to put points on the board quickly.
It bounces off the leg, out of bounds, and Baker helps create a turnover. 19 of them tonight for the Wildcats.
One of the toughest combo guards in this league is Baker, as you see him.
He's shaking up.
He's shaking up and limping, but I have a feeling that he's always hurting somewhere. By the way he plays, he's always banged up at some part of his body.
He was flexing the right leg, and he is walking with a noticeable limp.
Rubbing his hamstring.
He's going to catch that knee.
Yep, right knee of Tarczewski caught him in the in the quad.
Notice how he doesn't feel it while he's celebrating and making sure he gets that turnover. And that's the way that this guy plays, tough.
Baker remains in there. They get it to him with 57 seconds left. Double team on Baker.
Didn't look like he felt it there.
Van Vliet. And finally a foul given as York will get called for it out near midcourt.
I mean, I guess you have to do it, but you mentioned it in the free throw shooting by the guys that are out on the floor. Pretty good.
Yeah, Van Vliet is just a shade under 80%. Baker's the same. Frankamp is above 80% at 86%. And the lead is now 10. Van Vliet, 3 of 3 at the free throw line. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 5 steals.
And Baker keeps rubbing that quad. You know, that does nothing but tighten up when this game is over. He's going to have to get a lot of work on that. He's going to be ready for Miami on Saturday.
How about this stat for Arizona? 18 field goals, 19 turnovers. It just shows how important the guard play was this evening.
Trier using a lot of time. It'll be a moot point. Tarczewski with the jam and Sean Miller with the timeout. We've got 29.4 left on the clock. And Wichita State in control against Arizona. Game reset with Wichita State in front 62-53. Both teams in the double bonus. 2 timeouts remaining for the Shockers. Arizona out of timeouts. And the possession arrow to the Wildcats. Providence and USC over on TBS in a 1-point game under a minute to play. And the Trojans in front of the Friars. Foul called. A quick one given. And it's going to send Nerger to the free throw line.
I'm kind of surprised that Nerger is even in the vicinity. You put your best free throw shooters in a position to receive. Not that 62.5% is that bad considering today's game.
Not a whole lot of opportunities for Nerger. 28.3 left on the clock. Good form. And one more coming for Rano Nerger. Changes here for Arizona. The seniors exiting. Tarczewski, York, Anderson. Outstanding careers as they head to the Wildcat bench, wrapping up their collegiate experience.
And if you could read lips, you just saw Coach Miller tell Tarczewski, thank you. Thank you. And that's all you want to hear from your coach, especially as a senior walking off the floor.
Shaq Morris extending out. He's been a presence on both ends of the floor for Wichita State. 3 blocks now for Morris. 22 seconds to play. Allen drives in and leaves it off for Ristich with a layup. Pass deflected twice. Van Vliet's got it. Final 14 seconds. Van Vliet trying to avoid the foul call, and they give it with 11.2.
And Sean Miller just called it off right now.
You work so hard for this moment, especially for those guys right there. 4 years of dedication, and it seems that it comes down to one game. And
well, the upperclassmen, those seniors, they have been, to the Elite Eight. A guy like Ryan Anderson, though, transferred here just to maybe go far in the tournament. At least he got there.
I'm sure the Elite Eight for these guys are pretty sure those guys were championship or bust in their locker room. Probably didn't want to share it with anyone, but
Baker exits. Celebration is starting for Wichita State. Jump shot. Jackson Cartwright. And that'll do it. Wichita State. Another win in March. This is a big-time program. Year in, year out. Greg Marshall's teams compete, and they get it done against Arizona. 65-55, the 11 seed in the South advances in Providence.
In this guard-oriented game we call college basketball, and we said at the beginning of the telecast, experience counts. And you got 2 guys in Fred Van Vliet and Ron Baker who have essentially the most experience among active players here in the NCAA tournament.
And Sean Miller, some words for Fred Van Vliet and the respect level when we talked to Miller yesterday about what Van Vliet and Baker have accomplished in their careers. Wichita State, an 11 seed, but you can't even look at that number. They're not an 11 seed.
You can, and you talk about this team, you talk about their experiences. Coach looks over here and says, I told my guys to box out, but just love being able to root for these guys who made a commitment to come back this year to pursue the national championship.
It'll be the Shockers and the Hurricanes Saturday here in Providence. Evan Washburn standing by.
Well, Coach, I know you've held opponents to less, but I'm curious, with the type of team Arizona is in this stage, how you stack this defensive performance up.
Well, I mean, our guys are gritty, and they're digging the balls out of the post, and we're making the proper slides. We're rotating and helping one another. We took probably 4 or 5 charges, and they had a tremendous size advantage. And Zeus is not only a great player, but because these guys were with him in the Pan Am trials, I know he's a great kid. And boy, he just is so big on the glass. But our guys just continue to fight for 40 minutes.
Ron Baker, right here, but he was also all over this floor tonight. I know we've seen this for now a 4th year. But does it still amaze you the type of effort that he plays with?
No. Both his parents are coaches. He and Fred Van Vliet came to me as winners. All I had to do was just put them together. And I was just the fortunate coach that had the wherewithal to put those 2 guys together. And they're carrying us on a magic carpet ride again.
Well, that ride continues Saturday, Coach. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Ron, come on in here. You know what it takes to make a run in this tournament. I'm curious, is this team playing the type of basketball necessary on both ends to make that type of run?
I feel it coming along. This team really reminds me of the team 3 years ago. We play hard on the defensive end. We're starting to knock down shots, and we're having the time of our life. This month is dedicated to basketball, and that's what we put our time and effort into, and we're having fun with it, and that's the way to go about it.
Ron, impressive effort tonight. Get some rest. It looks like you could use it, and we'll see you on Saturday.
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, back to you guys.
All right, Evan, thanks so much. Ron Baker, another strong performance, helping lead Wichita State to the victory, 65-55, the final. Coming up next, stay tuned. Special presentation of the TBS original series, Separation Anxiety. For Chris Webber, Len Elmore, Evan Washburn, Ian Eagle saying so long from Providence. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship.